Long time no see, ladies and gentlemen. THump here. Today we're going to be doing a tier list video on the most recent patch that dropped on the 13th of November. This is going to be from the perspective of an Abrams player. I have been grinding Abrams a ton, so keep that in mind when I'm talking about certain characters and how much I despise them and how OP I think they are. With that being said, let's get into Abrams. Now, Abrams can be from A to B tier, in my opinion. Depends on the lane that he gets matched up again, how much roaming he's going to be able to do, whether you're buying Fleetfoot or not. I personally feel that you need to run this character with Fleetfoot so that you can constantly be heavy melee canceling. I get so many kills in games that I'm able to secure towers and walkers from having Fleetfoot and using heavy melee cancel to chase people down. You're very good at early game getting people under their turrets. You can still last it and deny them, put a ton of pressure on them early in the game. However, Abrams in the current meta, going against Wraith and Furnace, Yamato, these are characters you can just, feels like you can never kill, you can never lock them down. Dynamo's in the game, just locks you down forever and you just get blown up. Lash is good against you. Lady Geist is good against you. You charge her into the wall. She just health swaps you. Pocket's ult is good against you. It just feels like Paradox 10%. Every time you get swapped through the wall or walk through it, 10% of your life is just disappearing. Feels like a lot of characters currently right now are very powerful against Abrams. And again, maybe I'm biased because I do nothing but complain. But it feels like at the moment he's in B tier. He's very strong. His ult is very good at securing the Rejuvenator because you get the immunity to stun, sleeve sears, all that stuff. You can stun everybody in a massive AoE. I just feel like Abrams has been nerfed a good amount while other characters are getting nerfed a lot less. Like in Furnace, this character just, I mean, he gets nerfed every now and then here and there, but he never gets touched as much as Abrams does. It feels like everybody just hates this character, and it makes me sad. I'm going to put him in B tier for now. He could be considered in A tier just because of his ult, but playing him in ranked nonstop for the past 5 days, it feels like there's a lot of ways to kill this character. There's a lot of characters in the current meta that are consistently picked that are really frustrating to play against, so that's why I'll put him in B tier. Next up, Dynamo. This character is an issue. And I don't know how you ever fix this character without changing his ult or adding items into the game or making it to where I can pop Unstoppable after he has ulted me. Which we maybe should do. Let's think about that. Should we do that? Should I be able to pop Unstoppable after Dynamo ults me? So BK being after it so I can just run out of it? I don't know. Just a thought. This character just gets Refresher and gets Warp Stone and then just Refresher ults. And no matter how coordinated you are, Deadlock is a very hectic game. He's going to get 3 people in his ult, 2-3 people in his ult, and the game's just over. Every time I see this character on the enemy team, you just get that overwhelming sense of despair that you just know late game, if you're behind or if you're ahead, you're just going to get 3 or 4 men ulted, and the game's going to end. He's very good in lane. His knock-up, playing it with Abrams, this feels just like a cheese lane. You just dominate. It's so powerful. His knock-up's powerful. His healing's powerful. Escape is really good. You can grab people out of Kelvin ult with his Quantum Entanglement. Not Quantum Entanglement. I forgot what his ability name is called because I hate this character so much, so I just try to block it out of my mind. You can Dynamo ult people, or not Dynamo, you can Dynamo ability people out of Kelvin Bubble. You can just get him out of so many different things. His utility is insane. Just overall, probably the one character in the game that when I see it on the enemy team, I'm like, oh god, here we go again. Actually, I say that, but let's go ahead and talk about this character as well. This is a toss-up between these two characters. Like, the characters' kits, I don't know what you do ever with these two characters. I feel like Yamato's kit is just in lane, it's very strong, does a ton of damage, ton of harass. Very hard to trade when she hits you with her 3 because the attack speed slow that she applies to you. And then once this character gets ult, Refresher ult, it's just, if you focus her in a team fight, you're wasting an insane amount of time trying to kill this character that's just never going to die. The character has really good ganks with her 2, latching onto you through the Great Wall of China. Very frustrating character to play against. I don't know which one is more frustrating, but yeah, both of these characters are definitely S tier. When you see them on the enemy team, it just feels like you're already behind 10,000 souls at the start of the game. Whenever this character hits 3,000 souls, good luck ganking him. If he has kinetic dash, he just ults, kinetic dashes away, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Just wave at him as he disappears behind his turret. Good at farming the jungle. I mean, what is this character not good at? Like, what's the... And I don't know, they keep nerfing this character over and over and over, but I don't know how many times you can nerf this character and it be enough. When the character ults, it's not affected by heal bane, toxic bullets, because it removes all of those debuffs whenever she ults, so the heal is always going to be massive. And I don't know if you can nerf it down, her ult giving her 10% spirit resist and 10% weapon resistance, and the character's still just insane. The ult also refreshes all of her abilities, so you can ult, and you can do it instantaneously. Yeah, just a broken character that probably should be deleted from the game. Let's go into Warden. Now, I feel like this character is the one character where this character can be absolutely garbage on your team, or it can be absolutely god tier. You can go into a fight and ult, and you can do absolutely nothing while just stroking it the entire time as people run away from you. Or you can land an ult where Dynamo has 3 people ulted, and you can win the game for your team. So this character seems to be, he needs a snowball early, and it's a lot of skill-based awareness of how good the player is playing it, when he knows to use his ult, and Majestic Leap in, Majestic Leap did get nerfed. So this character in my games, it kind of just feels like when I'm playing Abrams, I do not care about this character at all. Like, I will shoulder charge you with your ult up. I do not care. And if the character tries to run me down, I'm just going to heavy melee cancel Fleetfoot away and run 67 million yards away from him. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to put Warden in C tier. Now, listen, if Hydration is playing this character, we'll just put it in S tier, okay? But there ain't many Hydrations in my ranked lobbies. And the wide majority of players that play Warden on my team do not have fingertips. A lot of times you got to put them on your back and carry them across the finish line. I'm just going to put this character in C, although I do love laning with this character. Laning with this character on my team is Abrams. Kumbaya, my lord. I love it. It's beautiful. But just too many Wardens in my game seem to not do much at all anymore with the recent nerfs of the character. Let's go into 7. Now, this character has seen a lot of changes recently. I'm going to put it in B tier. The character still is decent in lane. In solo lanes, 7 is fine against a majority of matchups. The one thing about 7, if I am playing Abrams and I see a 7 in a solo lane and I'm on your side of the map in a duo lane, I am going to gank you over and over and over. I absolutely hate this character. I just don't like that he can place a stun on me. It's just annoying me. So whenever I see this character, I always gank him. He has no escapability whatsoever. He's very easy to dive under his turret and very easy to keep down in games. A lot of times, even on my team, I'll look up and I'll see my 7 has like 10,000 more gold than me, but he does nothing. It feels as though 7 right now is a character that eats up souls, takes a lot of your jungle farm, but just doesn't produce as much damage later in the game as, say, a character like Infernus does. In what situation in my lifespan would I ever rather have a 7 on my team as my scaling carry instead of Infernus? That's right, you never would. Infernus is just all around a better character than 7 will ever be, just based on their kits. That's not true. Obviously, you could see some buffs to 7 where it speeds up his jungle farming and stuff like that, and he becomes a much more powerful character. This character also, his ult is just completely useless. Nobody in higher MMR is afraid of this ult anymore. Everybody's pretty much figured this character out. It did get nerfed in the most recent patches, and jungle creeps now give 5% less gold as well, which disincentivizes you from going into the jungle. The recent changes also made it to where post 8 minutes, you're going to be sharing more of those souls, whereas before, you always wanted one person, past 8 minutes, you wanted one person in each lane, because you would get the maximum amount of souls that you possibly could, and then you would have your doorknob 7 player just sitting in the jungle playing World of Warcraft, doing nothing productive whatsoever. So the meta was 4 people in solo lanes, 7 in the jungle, and he could just clear it as fast. He was the fastest character in the game that could clear it. You'd get an insane amount of souls, scale late game, and become unkillable, whereas now it's a lot different than that. Overall, 7, it's not a character where I get it on my team and I'm like, oh boy. Now, again, I'm an Abrams player. I don't mind laning with 7 in lane. He throws a stun on somebody, and if they do not run away or they get in bad positions, then I can follow that up with a shoulder charge, and it is free kills in the lane. Not the worst character to duo with in lane, but definitely would rather have Dynamo, Kelvin in my lane instead. Infernus just has pretty much everything in his kit. He has an escape mechanism, which 7 does not have. He's very good in lane with any duo, pretty much. He's going to be good, going to be safe. Solo lane, very powerful. There's very few characters in the game that can punish Infernus over and over in a solo lane and push him out of the lane. He's just constantly going to be there. It's very hard to fight him in 1v1s with his one ability. And if he does get low, again, he can just run away. AoE ult, stun, which is something the 7 doesn't have. He does have a stun that can be AoE, but Infernus is going to be more reliable on a target that you want to use it on. Also, naturally builds into Toxic Bullets, which is just very annoying to play against. As Abrams, this character is just annoying. He heals a ton of sustained damage. He did get nerfed recently. He also, Inhibitor got nerfed, which he was building into, and some other items as well. Toxic Bullets still got changed, but it's still really good against Abrams, which is just what I care about. And this character is just overall annoying. Everybody around the community pretty much agrees that you could put this character in A tier or S tier. In competitive, it might be S tier. It's just really powerful, consistent damage throughout fights, and it's very hard to focus him down and kill him as well once he gets Metal Skin, if he goes a Thero Shift, stuff like that. Just an incredibly annoying character that should probably be deleted from the game, and I'll keep saying that until the end of time. Next up, let's talk about Lash. This character is really fun, really annoying to play against. Could be in B tier, could be in A tier. I'm going to put Lash in B tier for now. It really depends on the player. A lot of these characters are this way, right? I said the same thing with Warden. If you get a good Lash on your team, it feels like he's an S tier character, and you feel like you cannot lose. Lash can be used to stop Dynamo ult, can pull them out of it. So he's a good counter to Mo, good counter to Dynamo, I suppose, if you want to say that. Also good at stealing and securing the Rejuvenator in the mid-boss just by sitting up top and popping his ult. Does really good damage consistently throughout the game. People are learning more and more to, get better positioning to do rollouts from higher spots on the map, such as above mid-boss. You'll see a lot of Lashes create mid-pressure through both of the middle lanes, doing rollouts from mid-boss. This character is also really good in the meta with, I think Ivy's a really good character right now. Ivy Lash is a very annoying lane to go against as Abrams. Lash just has really good everything, really good early game, has really good ult impact later on in the game as well, scales well into late game, is always going to consistently do good damage. He's going to always be hard to kill. You're going to have to itemize to shut him down with silences and things of that nature. Overall, Lash just a very, very good character. I guess that's all I'll say about Lash. Plus, he's a Giga Chad, and he just looks very, very beautiful as a human being. Next up, we will go with Lady Geist. Lady Geist did just get a lot of nerfs to her Malice and Mystic Reverb. I still feel like this character's kit is so powerful. Playing against this character as an Abrams player is very, very annoying to me. So I'll talk about it from that perspective. You charge into it. The character is 2, silences you, and then anytime you get this character low, she just ults you. It just feels like I don't even get to play the game against Lady Geist at all. It's a very frustrating character, very good at pushing, very good at having tower pressure, very good at clearing waves, so it's hard to push against her. Even if you have 3 people in a lane, you just bomb the wave completely dies. And then the character is very good at min-maxing, going from lane, throwing a bomb in the jungle, and just leaving it, going back to lane, so you constantly have lane pressure, even when you are farming the jungle. A lot of people are going Warp Stone too, so you get the movement. You're always able to get your ult off. A very frustrating character to play against. This character, honestly, before the nerfs to Malice, to where it only hits one person, and nerfs to Mystic Reverb, this character was an S tier. I want to say that this character should be an A tier. The kit is just so powerful in my opinion. However, the nerfs to Mystic Reverb and Malice did hit her pretty hard. Incredibly frustrating to play against, which is why I want to put her in A tier, but we'll still go B tier with Lady Geist at the moment. Next up, let's do the 2 snipers. We'll go Great Talon first. We'll put Great Talon in B tier. They did nerf the width of the 1 on Great Talon, so it's harder to hit now. But anytime I'm in lane against Great Talon, and it feels really overpowering when he's just constantly hitting you, and I'm playing this obese character, Abrams, and he's just constantly shooting me with it, and you have to run regen items that you normally wouldn't run. Great Talon has good pressure mid and early game. Later in the game, though, I feel like Great Talon's kind of a useless character. And again, I could be biased because I'm saying this from an Abrams POV, but I get improved spirit armor, and then this character just doesn't seem to really exist to me anymore. The bird is good, securing kills, and you can use it to secure Rejuvenator. You can use it to engage team fights and stuff like that. It feels okay having a Great Talon on your team, but again, it's not something where I'm getting a Yamato, a Dynamo, or an Infernus who just runs away and can never die and has insane uptime on his DPS, something like that. So overall, I'd put Great Talon above Warden, just because I think the character is more consistently going to be able to provide damage and stay alive than Warden is. All right, the other sniper character that Abrams does not get to play the game against is Vindicta. This character was so powerful, and then they nerfed it. Vindicta is obviously not as powerful. The ult charges whenever you first zoom in. With the ult charge, it starts at 25% charge now instead of 50%. So you can't just get quick scoped nonstop over and over by Vindicta. People are still running spirit builds with the bird dealing a lot of dot damage and then sniping people down. I feel like Vindicta now needs to snowball to get ahead more than she used to. It felt like before you could just never keep this character down no matter what you did. You could pray to God every day and this character would still just have a 27 million gold lead on you, and felt like you were just getting absolutely railed every team fight, especially as Abrams. You just get snared and you would die instantly if you didn't have Metal Skin, Return Fire, or something like that. Vindicta's in a much better place now. I still think late game, this character, if you're not super far ahead, is obviously it's not anywhere as good to me as Infernus or Wraith or something like that. So I get a Vindicta on my team and it's fine, but it's not something where I'm super over the moon about it like I used to be a couple patches ago. Next up is Wraith. We'll just go in order from here. Wraith, oh man, I despise this character. I cannot put into words how much I hate this character. Do you know how much they have nerfed this character? And this character is just good. Like, it just doesn't matter. This character's kit is disgusting. It has an insane escape. It has an attack speed steroid that increases the attack speed of people around her. Cards that are just constantly recharging, throwing out 1,000,000 damage a second. And telekinesis, which just lifts you up and you just don't get to play the game. So anytime I, as an Abrams player, charge this character into a wall and say he has 3 cards up, he just ults me point blank and then I just die. And then people in my chat are like, yeah, but you should just itemize. And then I look at the Wraith's items. He has no defensive items whatsoever. And he can 100 to 0 me, but I can't 100 to 0 him. And I don't think that's fair. And I'm going to sue this company soon. This character's S tier. People just go shadow weave. They run around the map. You just have good everything. You have good early game, mid game, late game, good gank potential. There's nothing this character does not have. Extremely, extremely powerful. Will always be picked. Anytime I get this character on my team, thank God. So easy to get picks and then go take mid boss. It's so easy to get picks, take earn, and all the other objectives around the map. Another character we'll put in the S tier is Ivy. This character is so... what's the word I'm looking for? It is so multidimensional. It is so... multifaceted. It has so many different builds, I guess is the way I'm trying to say it. You can go support Ivy. You can go gun Ivy. You can go spirit Ivy. This character just offers so much. Love laning with this character. It's Abrams. This character, oh wow, it feels juicy. It feels incredible. You can feel the power spike. It feels like I'm Goku going from nothing to Super Saiyan 1. It feels incredible. Abrams charge into Ivy stun, heals, has a way of getting out of all types of ganks that are coming with Stone Form. Just overall, very, very powerful character. Can run the urn faster than anyone in the game. It feels very oppressive to play against this character. Anytime you're going for turrets, Ivy can rotate with the ult and stop the push, or if you're going for a walker, this character can make up for a lot of bad macro play that people have. Just with the ult, overall solid character, doesn't have many downsides in my opinion. And this was from a person who put, I'm pretty sure 3 patches ago, I did a tier list video before, and I put this character down in D tier, but now this character, or maybe I put it in C tier. Now this character is very juicy. I love it. Very, very strong. Pocket, talked about this character nonstop. I used to main this character, and then I wanted to be a man, so I started playing Abrams. Pocket will always be powerful. The character just has so much survivability, so much movement, so much damage. The ult, minus 60%, healing debuff, extremely powerful. Has been rebuffed a little bit recently, but this character will always, in my opinion, unless it gets absolutely gutted, will just be good. It's just the kit on this character, the kit on this character, all of these characters, I would say not Ivy necessarily, but all of these characters, these 5, have such powerful kits, like just their abilities alone and how they work are so good that you would have to absolutely gut these characters to have them in C tier, in my opinion. I don't see any world where Pocket is not A tier or above just based on his ult applying a 60% healing debuff and it ticking for 1,000,000 damage, the mobility, ability, ganking, just has it all. There's no downsides to this character whatsoever. Bebop is a struggle. Bebop is a struggle, huh? I feel like Bebop is in a really weird situation right now where people are going weapon damage builds on Bebop, and in what galaxy would I ever want a gun Bebop on my team instead of any other character in the game that runs weapon damage? I would honestly probably rather have a Shiv weapon damage build on my team than a Bebop weapon damage build. Nobody really goes Bebop ult build anymore, and the majority of the time I've just been seeing Bebops with weapon damage. If you miss your hook, character doesn't really have good ganking potential, so you have to maximize how many hooks that you're hitting. You got to hit like Chef Curry from 3 level percentages. And in what world would I ever want this character on my team when Paradox exists, right? So I think Bebop just suffers from his build path right now being weapon damage. It feels really, really underwhelming. I hate having this character on my team, and every time I go to the post-game screen, they just don't do anything. They don't do any damage. No offense to Bebop players. I feel like this character is very hard to balance because he feels so oppressive in his earlier forms. It just felt really obnoxious to play against and anti-fun, and probably had people uninstalling the game. But now it seems as though the gun builds just are not cutting it, in my opinion. They don't add enough to the team because I want Paradox on my team. Bebop has a hook that is much harder to hit and gives us an advantage than Paradox. This character is so powerful. I cannot put it into words. No matter how much you nerf this character, I think just innately, just the swap and the carbine alone, those two abilities combined together are oppressively strong and will always have this character in S tier, especially in competitive where the player that's playing it is going to be extremely skilled. So you're always going to be able to hit your not always, but you'll hit a large portion of your carbines into swaps. Immediately, the fight's 5v6. You just warp stone away from the enemy team and you're alive, you're good. Don't see any downsides of this character. Really good ganks because of the mobility that you have. Really good in laning phase. Really good just everywhere. 365. Extremely oppressive. Playing this character against playing Abrams against this character is so boring. You run at him, he just throws down his wall, swaps you. 10% of your life is gone. You can never close on him to do enough damage. Very frustrating character to play against, which should be picked in 100% of the games. Next up is Haze. This character got nerfed to its ult recently. It pretty much makes Ricochet a guaranteed item now. Haze, I think the biggest issue with this character right now is that you can just buy metal skin and the character becomes useless. The character does no real spirit damage. It's going to be a character that has to focus on weapon damage alone. There are people that run Sleep Dagger, Echo Shard, but let's not talk about that. Yeah, so pretty much the problem with this character is that it just gets countered by 3,000 soul item, and then for 3.5 seconds, you just can't do anything when you're playing Haze. Somebody pops metal skin, well, GG. You're just sitting there jerking your thumbs off, doing nothing, and metal skin is affected by duration extender as well, so you could even get it to like 4 seconds, 3.99 seconds, something like that. And you just can't do anything. And if 3-4 people on the enemy team get metal skin, you do not exist as a character. Next up is Kelvin. This character is always going to be powerful. Again, a lot of this list, just like think about these characters' abilities. A lot of these characters' kits are just really powerful, and I don't know. This character's been nerfed so many times, but I don't know how you make this character completely obsolete. He has a heal with his bomb that does good damage. His kit is just very good using Rescue Beam. You can run him support, save people. His ult is still really good at securing the Rejuvenator. So you can throw his ult down on top of the Rejuvenator, and again, it freezes it. So remember, you can't, whenever you use Kelvin ult now, it freezes the Rejuve, so you can't hit it and secure it until Kelvin's ult goes down. Kelvin can just cancel the ult, then immediately punch it. Say somebody is trying to come down. Say your whole team is there. There's one person on the enemy team, and he's trying to dive the Rejuve. Kelvin can just ult, and then he's stuck. The enemy's stuck inside of the ult. Your team can just focus that guy down, kill him, and then secure the Rejuve for free. Character just has a powerful kit. Very good support character. Very good roams. Good in lane. Very powerful. I won't put it above Pocket and Infernus, though. That would never happen. I think these two characters are solidly in A tier. You maybe could put Lash up here as well. depending on the character, depending on who's playing it. McGinnis, I love playing with this character. I love having this character on my team. If I did put him in B tier, it'd be above Great Talent and Vindicta. You could honestly put McGinnis in A tier. This character is extremely powerful. The wall. The ult did get nerfed a lot, and the turrets did get nerfed as well, but the wall is the main thing about this character that I think is really, really powerful. In lane, playing with Abrams, kiss me. In lane, play McGinnis Abrams, it's so fun. Anytime that wall comes up, anytime somebody gets on the other side of it, it's just a free kill. There's a lot more souls in the game now with the recent changes to how soul sharing works. So McGinnis can have a lot of pressure on lanes, can sit in lane for a long time and farm up, has good turret pressure, so you're going to have to rotate people over. You're going to have to send probably 2 people to McGinnis' lane to stop the push once McGinnis gets a wave on your tower and gets set up. The character is just very powerful. I love having this character on my team. Although I know there's a lot of people who feel like McGinnis players are completely useless and don't know what they're doing. In competitive, I would probably put this character higher, but for my ranked games and from my personal experience, I'd put McGinnis in B tier. And if you do play this character, I think you're a Giga Chad. Oh, Shiv. Shiv. I feel like this character is he's in such a rough spot. I could put Shiv in B. I could put Shiv in C. He's still a playable character. I just get really frustrated playing this character with the rage now and just the difficulty of keeping it up. I just used to play this character a ton about a month ago when he was really, really powerful, and it's hard to go back and play this character again. It feels like if Shiv gets buffed at all, then the character just immediately goes to A tier. And the character, just the way his kit is, he's very hard to buff and nerf at the moment. I'd put Shiv currently in C. I do not, shockingly, because this character's fun to play in my opinion, I do not see Shiv a lot in my ranked games anymore. All of these characters up here, you're going to be seeing a ton. You still see a ton of Haze, Warden, not much Bebop at all. I do not see much Bebop and Shivs in my game, and when I do see Bebop again, it's a gun build. Shiv also got nerfed with the recent melee damage reduction, so everybody was running melee Shiv. Not everybody, but a lot of people are running melee Shiv. Now there's melee resistances in the game, and a lot of people such as Wraith, they run these items, which gives them the melee resistances just naturally. They run the items. So Shiv got a couple nerfs there as well. Some item changes that hurt Shiv with escalating exposure. So we'll just put Shiv in C right now. He just doesn't have the impact that he used to have. It feels like you really need to be snowbally early in the game, which is harder to do because it's harder to build up your rage now and sustain it. So it's harder to snowball the games and get super far ahead so you can do massive amounts of damage in team fights. Also, you need to be hitting in team fights, his 2, you need to be hitting multiple targets with it. He just has a lot of conditionals that need to be achieved now for him to really shine, whereas before, he could be 1 in 12, and as long as he was within like a 5,000 souls of your highest farmer, this character was a problem to deal with. Now, not so much. Easier to focus down, easier to kill. Next up is Mo and Krill. Now, you could put Mo and Krill in S tier. You could put it in A tier. This character just has a lockdown that lasts forever. So if he's on your team and the enemy team has a character who's 10,000 souls ahead, but your Mo and Krill has Phantom Strike, he can consistently lock them down over and over and over. That's why he would be an S tier. Really good in lane, really good at every phase of the game. Any matchup that I play against him as Abrams, Mo in Furnace, Mo in Pocket, Mo in Kelvin against Abrams. Yeah, Abrams just doesn't exist in the laning phase. I feel like you can't kill Mo. He just disarms you for 27 centuries. He heals a metric truckload, so he can never get low enough for me to shoulder charge him and just one-shot him. He roams very, very well. There's no real downside to the character whatsoever. I'm trying to think of a downside right now, besides the fact that the character is just obese, so it's easy to shoot him. The character is just extremely powerful, and if you try to nerf this character, I don't even know how you go about it. He has a heal that just heals for a ton. He has a disarm, so you just can't play the game. The one thing that's good against Mo and Krill is spirit damage, but spirit damage, you just run improved spirit armor, and the item is just insanely broke. Listen to me. Improved spirit armor is very, very valuable in this game. Now, improved bullet armor, not so much. You can run items that are less costly, return fire. You can run metal skin, which I think is just better than getting upgraded bullet armor. But this character, overall, the kit is just extremely powerful and will never be going below A tier, in my opinion, unless he just gets some insane damage nerfs, which I do not see are coming. I think the character is currently fine. I don't see it as one of those characters where when it's on the enemy team or it's on my team, I'm just like, oh man, like here we go again. Like when it's a Yamato, Dynamo, Paradox, Wraith, I don't know if I'd put Ivy there necessarily. I just think the character is really, really good, so I put it up here. But whenever I see these 4 characters on the enemy team, I really want to think about leaving the game, loading up Valorant, and insta-locking Jet instead. It just feels like a miserable experience. Whereas Mo, I don't know, playing against the character, he's just kind of cute. See him on the battlefield, so I just kind of enjoy it. Last but certainly not least is Viscous. Viscous is in a good spot. We'll put Viscous somewhere in B tier. None of this is really in order in B tier. Viscous is very good. He's just a good character. He's good in lane. He's not good. He's not bad. He's just there. He's good in lane, good roams. His cube is very, very useful. I will E-date you. If you're a Viscous and you run Rescue Beam and I'm playing Abrams and I can fleet foot, heavy melee cancel into their backline and try to pick up kills, and then you just cube me and Rescue Beam me away, oh my, it makes me so happy. I love playing with Viscous that goes support build. Some people have been going weapon splatter. The one ability does have better scaling now, so people have been trying to build that as well. I think Viscous is just in a good spot. Not necessarily as bad as these characters in my opinion, but it's not going to necessarily be in the A tier as well. So that is the full and complete tier list. I try to be short and concise. The video is still going to be pretty long. I appreciate you guys watching. It does mean the world to me. I will be streaming tomorrow or today or every day, actually. Twitch.tv/THump, THUMP, just like my YouTube name. Like, comment, and subscribe on the video. It helps me out. I will be uploading a ton. I'm going all in on Deadlock content. We'll be uploading a good bit throughout the week. I'll be streaming nonstop. Come through, check me out. If you have any more questions, we will be playing a lot of Abrams, doing a lot of heavy melee canceling, running around like a crackhead. So yeah, look out for that. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, soldiers.